Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Drums and Drams. My name's Cameron, and today I've got a quick review for all of you of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch B524. This batch was bottled at 130.6 proof, or 65.3% ABV, and it carries an age statement of 11 years, 2 months. Now, before we go any further in this video, you may have already seen a review of B524 over on the Bourbon Junkies channel, and yes, there was a certain guest on screen with them. So last week, I was up in Michigan at Evernorth Spirits, which is the distillery that the Junkies own, and we were picking some barrels. We landed on 2 fantastic barrels of rye whiskey, and we decided to shoot some content while we were at it. So I went over to the castle, and I didn't really know what we were going to film. We ended up doing a B524 review first, which I will drop a link to that in the description of this video. Honestly, I think you should probably watch that review first and then come back here for a little bit of a nerdier dive into the tasting notes. But then after the B524 review, we did this 8-pour blind flight that just totally went off the rails. So I can't wait to see what that ends up looking like, because Sean has to edit that one, and it's going to be a nightmare. It was like an hour of raw footage that he's got to go through. But anyways, go check out the B524 review. I had a great time up there with those guys. We're going to dive into it a little bit further here. There were some notes I said in that review that they looked at me like I was crazy. I don't know. I'm going to taste it again right now and see if I am crazy. And you do see some other batches on the table. I'm not going to compare to those in this video, but I will be doing a live blind flight up against C922, A123, and I think I might also throw C923 in the mix. So without further ado, let's check this out. Again, we're just a bit over 130 proof, which is great for Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, and we're right around that 11-year mark. Here we go, on the nose. Wow. So to my Patreon members who saw my initial kind of private unlisted video of this when I reviewed it, I think I was a little hard on this, to be honest with you, because this stuff smells amazing. Now, it is a little bit hot on the nose. I said this kind of consistently in the Junkies video and in the Patreon video I did. It's a little overly spicy, a little hot. I mean, you do expect some proof and some intensity at 130.6. But I still think it kind of outshines some of the flavors or some of the aromas on the nose here. With that said, though, this is so dense, so rich. It's like this ridiculously enveloping caramel sauce. I do think there is some sort of like maybe cola note in here. Yeah, look, I do think there is some kind of cola, maybe flat cherry cola, maybe just straight up cola, but it's just that dark, kind of brown, buttery, dense, rich profile. And I think this stuff smells amazing. It's a great combination of that caramel, chocolate, cola, those kinds of notes, which are fairly standard. And if you watch the Junkies video, you know you know why that's funny. Fairly standard notes, right? But it maxes them out 100%. I do find a little bit of that chili pepper spice as well on the nose. We're going to get this on the palate, come back to the nose. But here we go. Cheers, guys. I mean, this is a decadent pour if I've ever had one. Again, still a teeny bit overly hot, overly spicy, where you have like the spice on top and it's driving the whiskey the entire time. And the flavors, as rich and decadent as they are, underneath the spice can never quite catch up to that like kind of upper or that top spice layer that the whiskey has. Even with that kind of complaint, that critique, this stuff is probably, I mean, this is probably the best Elijah Craig Barrel Proof since C923. I know it's only 2 batches later. What I should say is it's the best, it's like one of the best modern Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs since early 2021. I think this, it drinks really well, besides that little bit of extra heat that you get. But that heat also gives you a ridiculously long finish. So proof hounds are going to like this. People who particularly like the 2020 batches, like this kind of reminds me of B520 a little bit, which was very balanced but very rich. This kind of gets rid of a little bit of the balance in favor of heat, but it has that same kind of just classic Kentucky profile, straight down the middle, real standard stuff. And it's delicious. So back to the nose now very quickly. Then we'll do another sip. Yeah, all right. now that this has been on my palate for, just a second, I think I'm going to veer off from saying cherry cola. I think this is more of like a raisin or like a drier kind of dark fruit note, which in some ways, those dark fruits remind me of C923 just a bit. It doesn't quite have as much sweet oak as C923. I think this is a bit more of an aged oak profile. But yeah, I'm going to go with like more of a raisin or dark fruit character. And I'm also thinking that there's like maybe a little bit of molasses on here. Yeah, so the more you sip this thing, I sipped a little bit before this video, now I'm sipping it in this review. The more I sip it, the better this gets, because each sip you take, you're more acclimated to the spice, and it bothers you just a little bit less, or it bothers me in this case. Maybe it's not going to bother you at all. But as I sip it, that spice kind of falls to the background just a bit, and I'm able to really dig into those just rich, decadent flavor. So one more sip, and then we'll wrap this video up. Jeez. This is one that if you can stand to do it, leave it on your palate like a couple extra seconds before you take that sip, because it's just so enveloping and mouth coating. It does have a teeny bit, I think Dan might have called this out on the Junkies video. Maybe Sean, I don't remember. Someone mentioned like a saltiness, a little briny profile, like a salted peanut. Very, very little nuttiness in this batch, which I like, but it does still carry that kind of salinity to it. And I think I actually like that. It adds another dimension to the whiskey. It's got the sweet, it's definitely got the spice and the tingly chili pepper thing, and it has that little bit of briny saltiness. And of course, on the back end, you do get just enough funky leather and oak. To me, it's not wildly oaky in the finish. It's a little bit of a cleaner finish, I think, than some other batches have been, particularly like the 2020 and earlier batches, which I think had a lot of funky oak in the profiles. This one has a bit of a cleaner profile. And frankly, for like 70 to 80 bucks, I don't know. This year, we'll see what the C batch does, but this is going to be one of the best value pours, I think, this year. It really is phenomenal, and I'm so happy that they've done so well with this batch, Heaven Hill, that is, because A124, in my opinion, was a complete disaster for the brand. I thought it was the worst batch ever. I did blind flights to confirm this. I did side-by-sides to confirm it. I thought it was just a train wreck, but B524 is... it's pretty incredible stuff, minus a little bit of, extra heat here or there. So that's going to do it, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon. And we do have, again, 2 barrels of Evernorth rye whiskey on the way. Both of these are right around 130 proof, which is awesome, 6 years old, and they're going to be like 70 bucks, 65, 70 bucks. Super affordable in the Patreon. There's going to be quite a lot to go around, which I'm excited about. So jump in there, $5, $10, $25, or $50 a month, depending on which level you want to support at. And let me know in the comments if you've tried B524 and what you think. Does it stack up to C923? Does it stack up to older batches? And do you like a 2021 or a 2022 batch more than this one? I would love to hear what you have to say in the comment section of this video. Cheers, and I'll see you next time here on Drums and Drams.